So today we will check how we can create the connection between Python and SQL. Okay, so our database will be used as MySQL. It can be several in real time. In a real-time projects, a database language, a front-end language, and a framework. These three together creates one application, or whatever we call it, app. App means it should have one framework. Means what does it mean by framework? Framework means it will have a button, it will have a text box like you have in your app, in your phone application, in your Android apps, in your iOS app. You have few of the applications. You have some box where you can give username, you can give password, you can click a button like login, you can clickable buttons are there, some radio buttons. So those are being called framework. That is not a part of your syllabus as of now. Probably in college you will be getting those in your syllabus depending on the subject in your college days. You will be dealing with the rest of the two. What are the rest of this thing? The first one is Python, that will be behaving like a front-end language for you people. Similar way in ICSE, they have Java. The same thing is being done by Java as a front-end, but in your case, front-end language will be Python. In the back end, you can choose anything, SQL Server, Oracle, but in your case, it will be MySQL. So Shataki, if you go to MySQL, I want to see the tables already created in the MySQL. So there is one table called student. And what is Shaktaki? Shaktaki is the database name. You can see at the left hand object explorer, you can see Shaktaki is the database name mentioned there. Okay. And in the Shaktaki database, we have two tables. If I mark, this is the database Shaktaki, and in database Shaktaki, we have two tables called hobby and student. So here, what I'm doing just select star from Shaktaki.student. So probably you are able to able to write this type of queries. This is just to show what are the contents available in the table. So now we have stored only three things: role of few person, name of those person, and whatever the marks got by these people. So we have few records already stored in our table. So now we will try to manipulate this data using Python. Not directly, I will be not writing those things directly here. Rather, I will be playing with this. So first, we will check how to make the connection active between Python and SQL. So just go to the Python program first.
Sir, one thing.
Yeah.
Sir, I have the original code contents of the table. So these were the data inserted by us. Will I delete them?
Yeah. So those are manually inserted previously.
Yeah.
Now we will try to insert the same thing.
Sir, can you please tell me the command for deleting a table? I forgot it.
Okay, you forget that?
No.
Okay, so the right
deleting a table.
Delete from Shaktaki.student. Delete from Shaktaki.student. So it will delete the full set of data. So this is a part of our SQL class that we have already covered, but still here we will be trying to do that by ourselves. It is saying some error, or you are using safe update mode and you try to update a table where that key is. Okay, you can write delete from Shaktaki.student where something like that, where roll less than 10. You can do that. It is preventing you deleting data from the table. So just write delete from Shaktaki.student where roll less than 10 or something like that. But first try with that. I'll roll less than 10. Run that. Execute. Is it still giving the error? Can you check the table if it is really deleted or not?
No, sir, I'm using safe mode, so it won't let me delete. I need to turn off the safe mode, sir. It's given how to turn off that.
Okay, so then we need to check that to check the settings. But for the timing, can you just run the query, select start from Satyaki.student? We can check that later, how to change the connection. Okay, it still has the data. So we need to change the setting, but okay, we can do that later. First, we will insert few of the data starting from 1000, say 1001, 1002, so that we can understand which data is being inserted by Python. Okay, so first, let us go to the Python page. We can check this later. Delete query works in that way. Something safe mode is preventing you to do that, to execute that. So first, you need to write import MySQL connector. So you do not need to do anything, believe me. All of this thing will be done by SQL connector itself. You just need to mention, you just need to create a C. C means it will be an object. You just need to mention the server name. You just need to mention the password and the user. That's all. Obviously, user ID password you have to give, otherwise how Python can connect to that. And you have to mention the server name as well. So host equals to server name, password is the password, and your username. So you need to authenticate. That's all. So C will be containing those connection details. That's all, nothing else. So after that, I will be checking if C is connected. This is another ready-made function. If it is true, then it will print success. That's all. If it is true, it will print success. If not, I can write else not connected, but do not need to write that. Okay. So C is a automatic thing, automatic object created by SQL connector, and it will hold the connection details given by you. Now I am checking it is connected or not, yes or not. So if you run that, Shartaki, if it is the connection is up, it will show success. Okay, just delete that I from the end. Yeah, now run. Yeah, it is success, means it is showing, means it has successfully set up the connection between Python and MySQL. So you need to fill up the server name exists in your MySQL database and your user ID and your own password. So, okay. So now if I want to insert to one new record, means one new role, one new name, one new marks via Python, not into via SQL. So, Shataki, if you paste the second program we had already written those codes in the last class. So we are just explaining so that we can refer to this class later. Okay, just paste the second query. Yeah. So what we are doing, the same thing. First two statement is known to us. MySQL connector is being imported, and we are creating one object which is holding the details of the connection. And these statements are pretty known. I am taking 3 inputs from the user. That's all. So this is a really easier one. So the main things are starting from this part. We have to create a cursor if you want to deal with the query. So cursor requires 2 things. First one is a statement. Another one is the variables. So here the SQL statement is something like insert into Satyaki student values, and %s means these are just the blanks. These are 3 blanks. %s means 1 blank, 2 blank, and 3 blanks. Those blanks will be filled up by these 3 values. So in the next sentence, we are writing like our main query will be SQL, this one, and it will be filled up by val. So val is basically a list. So the main syntax will be SQL, and it will be filled up by val. If you check the SQL query, it is similar like this. Insert into Satyaki student values and the specific values. If you, Satyaki, if you go to the SQL software, MySQL software, probably you have used the same set of queries. Yeah. If you go up a bit, I can see the insertion into hobby table? Yeah, here you can see. You have written the same syntax with some specific values. But here in case of Python, these values will be blank because we do not know what should be the value. Those will be inserted by the user. So instead of giving the direct values, what I am doing, go to the Python now. Instead of giving 1 George 90, I will be mentioning R, N, and M. Those will be given by user. So a cursor require two input. First one is the syntax and second one is the value. In the syntax, I will be giving some blank and those blanks will be filled up by these values. So values are being taken from user and I am putting them in a list. The list name is values. So that is the syntax. So you have to define a cursor. Cursor will be doing everything for you. So now if I run the program, and we'll be inserting some values with, suppose roll 1001. Yeah, so that we can understand which is the new value. Suppose name is, give your name, Shataki again. Shataki there, the full name. Yeah, and the marks as 90, say. So insert that. Yeah, now go to the SQL. This value should be inserted by the cursor itself. If I take a look.
So just a second, I'm just running the use Saptoki command, then it won't be required to means write again and again the Saptoki.student.
Okay. Look, 1001 Shataki has been inserted. So that is the new data. So we will insert all the data with 1001, 1002 in that manner so that we will be able to understand means the syntax. Now paste the third query. So first data we have inserted successfully. Okay, 1001 rule. So the next query, if you paste. So here I am looking for inserting multiple data. If you can remember, Shataki has shared one query in SQL. If you go to the SQL once again, Shataki, we have shown you have inserted multiple values together. If you go up a bit, yeah, here Shataki has inserted multiple data, 1 George, 2 Lisa, 3 Ramesh together. So we are also looking for the same thing if we can do via Python. So if you go back to the Python screen, so here what I am doing, I am inserting I am trying to insert two values. First values has been inserted by user RNM and second value I have given a custom value now. So here write 1002 Anurag 93 1002. Yeah, so that we can understand. So what I am doing, the same SQL statement, it will be filled up now by two set of values. And those two set of values has been written in this format. A list of tuple. So single value is being called as a tuple. You can see we're using first bracket. This is a tuple. And the first value is also a tuple. And these are being kept under a third bracket. That means it is a list. So this is a list of tuples. So first, this query will be filled up by first set of value RNN. And again, this field will be filled up by second set of value. That is 1003 Anurag and 90.
A question.
Yeah, ask.
Sir, here in this, the three blanks are given in form of a tuple. So, sir, if we change this data type to list, then here also we can insert list as data type inside the nested list.
Yes. But I think, okay, one thing here, this bracket is not denoting the tuple, believe me. So this is the SQL syntax itself. This bracket doesn't denote the tuple. It means the SQL syntax bracket. If you can go to your SQL query, you have also given a bracket. So this bracket doesn't denote tuple. Okay.
So, sir, we can enter in form of a list inside the value.
You can try that. We can try that later. Okay. So if we are able to do that or not. Okay, but here the main difference, if you compare that with the last program, the main difference is here. Last time it was cr.execute, now it is cr.execute many. Means we are inserting two values here. So it is cr.execute many. So just remember those ready-made functions. You do not need to do anything. You just need to remember this syntax. It is doing everything. Execute.many, cr.execute many. So if you run this query now, I will be inserting two values. One will be taken from user. So suppose 1000 to Priyanshu, say, and 1003 will be automatically given by suppose 91 or something. Yeah. So now if we check, one inserted value by user and another one, the ready-made one, that is Anurag's record, both should be inserted into the table. Take a look, 1002 and 1003. Okay. So now if we go to our fourth program. So fourth program is something related to multiple value as per user choice. Here we have given the record of Anurag in ready-made way. We have written that. But this time I will ask user how many values, how many records he or she wants to insert. User will be giving the choice and I will be rotating those values multiple times and I will be inserting. Take a look here. The same thing again, import MySQL connector. I'm not explaining that. I am taking a input from user that how many times you want to take input. Suppose this time I will input Dibbo and Rajashi's record, suppose. So I am creating one empty list. Obviously, after that, I'll be inserting the tuples inside that. So I am taking three inputs. I am taking two inputs two times. So two times roll number, and marks. I am storing them inside a tuple and I am appending that tuple into that list. So I am creating a list of tuple. Last time, in case of Anurag and Priyanshu's data was being inserted by the user and Anurag's data was written by ourselves. So we have not taken that from user, but this time I am creating that tuple and appending that inside the list. So we have a good list now. Name is val. So that is holding different tuples as per the user choice. So what I will be doing now, the same thing, cursor after that SQL with some blank value, and after that execute many with those. And this val is now containing some of the user inputs. Okay, so run this program and you can see what is happening. So we will be giving two records we are interested to insert, two. So 1004 Dibbo, suppose 92 marks. Again, it will pop up another roll, 1005. Suppose Rajarshi, 93. Rajarshi, 93. So even you can choose three values, three records as well. I can insert Shom's records as well. But for the time being, I have chosen two. So you can see 1003, 1004 and 5 has been inserted. And nothing is custom this time. Everything is given by user in the general way. Okay, so we are now capable enough to insert multiple types of values inside the table. So if I go to the next program now, Satak, if you paste the next one. So this time I am interested, I'm not interested to insert the record. I am interested to fetch the records. Whatever we have in our table, in our student table, I want to fetch everything. So here, again, I need to define cursor, but this time I do not need to write the SQL and value because the table is well known. Like select star from Satyaki, student will be enough. So I will just need to write result and cr.fetch all. So if I run this query written inside select star from Satyaki student, it will be fetching me all the details into result. Result is a list. So result is a list and I can, okay, delete this for I in result print I, just print result. You can see result is a list. Then it will be more clear to you. Otherwise, you will think why for loop is being used and all. So if I print the result, you can see all the data are being fetched as a list. Just run that. You can see all those details are being fetched as a list of tuples. So all those data are being inserted, are being listed as a list. So now I can run a for loop to fetch those details individually. Yeah. So if I run again, I will be seeing them as a tuple. Take a look. Okay. So just by using the for loop, I can do some modifications here as well. Close this one, and you can put some where clause as well. Select start from Satyaki.student where roll greater than 1000. So whatever we can write in SQL, I am assuming you can remember the SQL syntax. So I am directly writing SQL syntax here. Even you can take some input from user and search it. Just go back to the Python one and take an input from user like r equals to int input or role, whatever, r equals to int input. Enter the role you want to search. You can do anything. You want to search. So can anyone tell me what should I do now? So I have to write role equals to percentages. Percentages means it is a blank. Yep. And now, okay, now we need to do one thing. First write SQL equals to perfect, Satyaki. SQL equals to percentages and val equals to r. So now, yeah, now I have to give, yeah, cr.execute SQL and val. If you want to give some dynamic value, then you have to create SQL and val. SQL will hold the SQL and val will hold the value. Just write 1000, something happened. Percentages. No, it happened with the percentages. So probably we have to give percentages bracket or something like that. I have to check. Okay, just give percentages for the bracket for the time being and check. No. Okay, we need to search. How? Have we done that in the last class somehow? Yep. So give a quote inside. Give a quote, yeah. So give another. What is the escape character in Python? Let me search quickly. Just a minute. We need to use a. Okay, no. Roll number is a number. We do not require that. Then how can I fetch that? What is that wrong? Just let me search quickly. Have we done anything in later like that? No, I guess that was missed. Okay, can you go below? I can see something like roll equals to 2. Otherwise, we will search. Okay. No, there is not.
That is given by us.
Yeah, there is a custom one. I want something general. So if I search, just a minute. So we have changed our way. So this time we are not going with value because percentage is creating some problem. Whereas we have preferred to fill the blanks using that second bracket format. So dot format R. So we have searched that way and we are using some second bracket, and those will be filled up by format. Yeah, we can skip SQL variable. We can directly use that here inside execute. Okay, so if I search 1002, yeah, it is giving me Priyanshu's record. And very specifically, if you want Priyanshu's name, we can also achieve that via modifying the for loop a bit. But okay, that is not the purpose for the time being. So yeah, if I go to the next command, then next is program.
So just a second, let me copy this out.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Okay. So quickly, if I go to the next one. No, the before one, six. Question number 6. Yeah. So what is the difference here? We can find particular records. It is just a simple tweaking the SQL syntax inside. Instead of star, we are writing roll and marks. Suppose I'm not interested on the names. I'm interested on the marks. So I can easily do that. So if you can run this query, it will be simply fetching roll and marks. So no database selected, it is saying. So use Satyaki.student here. So it is showing roll and marks only. It is not showing the name. It is simply because of the SQL query we have written inside. It is only roll and marks. That's all. So now, if I want to execute, suppose if you check, if I delete, do not run Satyaki now. So when Satyaki executed only student, it was showing no database is selected. Why it have shown that error? Because if you directly go into the server and if you write select star from student, obviously it will not show you anything because you have not selected the database. So every time I am running this program, it is setting up that connection, it is logging into the server every time, and it is running the query. So if you unless mention the database name, how can it be means able to understand like which database you are referring to? Generally in a server you can have multiple databases. So here I am giving something like that. I am using two queries now, two sentences now. First one is selecting the database and second one is just selecting the table. So I am running two queries for the first time together. So if you run that, so you do not need to write Satyaki.student. So in the first query, it is selecting the database, and then the second query, it is selecting the table. Okay, and this is the way you can even write multiple queries. So now we are able to write multiple queries. So if we can write 2, we can write 200 even. Okay. So now, yeah, so we have already done that. Satyaki, number 7 here, multiple query. So now if we are interested to update something, so it will be same thing. We just need to provide the query inside, execute. So we are interested to update the marks of, suppose, roll 1001. Suppose we are interested to update the marks as 100 for roll number 1001. If I execute that, previous marks, I can remember it was something 90 or something. So it has done. We can print a message like, okay, executed successfully, something like that, but do not need to do that for the time being. If we check the SQL, it is 1001 Satyaki, it was 100 now. Okay. So we can provide any type of queries via execute command, and it will be directly being executed in the SQL server, MySQL itself.
So we can make this dynamic as well.
Yes, we can make this dynamic. We can take the roll number from user and in the same way, second bracket dot format, but we will explore that later, but you can try that. Okay, so if I go to the next. So yeah. So here,
Sir,
I think
another thing.
Yeah.
Sir, previously in this fetch all did we sir, means every time we write a code in Python, either we have to first select the database or like means the database dot table.
Yeah, because it is Python doesn't know on which database you have to you are means interest to query. So you have to mention that always. Either you have to write use Satyaki database, or you can mention the database.table. So probably we have done that here. Yeah, update values as per the user record. So here it is asking for the roll number and the new marks, and we are updating the data. So if I go to the Python, so here it is asking for roll and marks and updating the roll dynamically.
Percentages is working.
Yeah, percentage is working. For some reason that didn't work there. So we will check later why it, what was the fault there. But for the time being, either you can use percentages, or even you can use something like second bracket, dot format, anything. So for the time being, let it be value M and R, and that values are dynamically provided here. Take a look. So we are trying to explore all possible ways we can communicate from Python to SQL. So if we do that, run that query very fast. We have only 2 minutes left. So just 1002 and make it 100 as well. So if I go to the SQL now, we can check. Priyanshu's record is also being updated to 100. So if I go to the next program, number 10, yeah. So now we are interested to see how many records we have in our table with some specific criteria. If I go to the Python, because I am updating, I am selecting, I am doing multiple things. Now I am updating the records, like who got 100, I want to mark it like marks equals to marks minus 10. But my intention is obviously update should be there, but my intention is to check how many people are there which is having, means which is affected. If you go to the SQL quickly, Satyaki, just I want to check how many records are having marks 100. So we have only 2 people. So I am looking for, I will be updating the data, as well as I need the row count, how many rows are affected. So if I run that, I will get 2. Okay, so it is updated. Updated means 100 is turned into 90. If you check, if you execute the line, it is 90. But I was interested to check the number of records was affected. If you go back to the Python screen, it is achieved by cr.row count. This is the one, except everything else is same like previous. So now we have the power to do anything. So you can write your SQL query and execute that using Python. Okay.